Hello, I'm Christine Schiavone, and our show is Spiritual Exploration. Tonight we're going to talk about healing the world through children, and I'm here with Geozuwa again. He is a pretty steady guest, and always a welcome guest because he's so knowledgeable.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure.
I
you
love
know
being
that.
on your show.
And I love having you.
An award-winning show.
That's
I always
right.
mention it. You've
That's
won
right.
awards.
That's right. That's right. I won awards. They haven't been giving any out lately.
Who do you want me to talk to?
Who talk to? No, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. I got enough awards.
Very good.
See, I don't need man's awards.
Okay.
I just like to look at God and say, you know, God, whatever you think is good for me, I don't need man's awards.
Awesome.
Yes. Anyway, but let's talk about.
And God loves you.
I know he does. I know he shows me all the time, and he loves everybody. Actually,
Of course.
a lot of people.
And that's why no one's going to hell.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Anyway, tell me about healing the world through children. How do children heal the world?
Well, for one, right now, if you look around, most adults don't even have any coping skills.
That's for sure.
The littlest things happen, and it's
They fall
it's
apart.
chaos.
Yes,
And most people do not know how to treat other people.
that's
Like
for sure too.
they don't teach in school how to be in relationships, how to be respectful. They don't teach that.
They don't, and even today they don't teach because look at all the bullying that's still going on and children suffering with that.
Right. And a lot of the bullies are actually, they're suffering, they're in pain, they're hurting, they're also a product of, dysfunction and most likely abuse at home, and they're going and they're then bullying, other children.
Right.
That's how they're
That's how
coping with
yes.
their abuse.
That's how they're getting it off their shoulders.
Right. So one of the things, I have a charity organization, and our main goal, our main vision, well, you know what, I'll read it from the book. So it's the Brilliant Future Foundation, and one of the vision is to build a community of self-sufficient homesteads with highly qualified volunteers raising children from the earliest ages in the healthiest, most loving, and supportive environment. Our children will learn practical coping skills, problem solving, meditation, self-hypnosis, gardening, and many other valuable life skills. They will be guided to grow with amazing confidence, strength, and courage, knowing their true value and high self-worth, learning to respect themselves and all others. They will acquire the knowledge through experience to critically think for themselves with a combination of logic and creativity, to move through life in the most positive and most beneficial manner, creating healthy-minded, ethical, compassionate, and moral generations going forward throughout the world.
If all children could be raised that way, this world would be such a good place.
Absolutely. And you know what, where a lot of people, and I work with a lot of adults. I do, healing workshops. I get people out of their own way. But the expression, if I knew then what I know now, how your life would be different. Well, that's the goal here. The idea is bringing the children at the earliest ages, the youngest ages, all of this knowledge and information, and teaching them actually how to live a good life,
That's a
a
wonderful
meaningful life.
ambition. It really
Yes,
is.
and I'm here. One of my main missions is to end the cycles of dysfunction, to heal the entire world. So when we're speaking about healing the world through children, that's where it really counts. Start that
Yeah,
process
they're
now.
the ones that are
Then you
coming
don't
up.
have to worry about all these other things that are happening.
Yeah. I understand, and that's a wonderful thought. And if that could be, there would be a lot fewer children who are, first of all, being cruel to animals,
Absolutely.
being brought up with the wrong ideas about everything, you know. But you know what? Where I lay the responsibility and the blame on the parents and the teachers.
Right, okay. Now, unfortunately, the cycles of dysfunction, the cycles of abuse, they just continue.
Yeah.
So most parents do not actually know how to be parents.
That's true.
And then again, like in the United States, the family, the structure is all broken apart.
Yep.
And you have both people. If it is a home with both parents are working. In most cases, both parents are working. The child's in school. They're not really learning anything of value
Yeah.
in school.
Yeah.
How to live a good life.
Right.
How to be happy. How to love themselves. How to be happy with themselves. And, so they're not learning from their parents. They don't have their parents even around to do that.
You know, up until the time that I was about 10, my mother was a stay-at-home mom, and my father worked. And when I was about 10, she was offered a job because she was a seamstress, and there was a factory that needed another seamstress, and somehow or other she got connected, started working. I don't think that I grew up deprived in any way just because my mother was working as well as my father.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that I grew up okay. I have respect for all living things and for Mother Earth and everything. So what's wrong with these kids?
Well, there's an energy, there's that lower vibration that's been happening, and I don't like to talk about the powers behind the powers, but any darkness that has been created or that is there will continue to, they need more darkness, more pain, more suffering. That's what they feed off of. So those cycles of dysfunction, again, there's almost every home. So you're saying your home was not a dysfunctional home.
No, actually, it wasn't. My
Right.
parents.
So and you turned out amazing.
Thank you.
Now, of course, there are people that have gone through, trauma, that have experienced dysfunctional home and abuse that turn out perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's true.
And those are the people that also work on themselves, and I think everyone should always be working on
Well,
themselves.
they're able to see what's wrong and say, I don't want my life to be that way, and I
Right.
don't want my children to go through what I'm going through.
But unfortunately, most people can't see past their trauma.
That's
They
true.
can't see past their experiences.
It's all about
They-
them.
Well, they can't see past it. They don't know. And I've been mentoring young adults in the extended foster care system, and a lot of them, it's very, very sad because while they were in that foster care system, they didn't learn anything.
No, because
they didn't
foster
get any love.
parents
They
didn't love them enough to teach them
Most
anything.
most of the foster parents don't even care.
They do it
but
for the money.
But after 18 years old, they don't know how to wash dishes. They don't know how to solve problems. They don't know how to do the things that they need to do to even live. And they don't know that they can have so much more. And it's very sad. And that's what I want to end. I want to end that because, you're an empath, I'm sure, as well. And I'm an empath. And I feel other people's pain probably more intensely than they feel it themselves. And if we could get to the root right when they're the earliest ages, so they don't have to experience all of that abuse and trauma.
Yes.
And you teach them the meditation, self-hypnosis. Let them know who they are. They're eternal. They're infinite.
Do you have plans on how to reach all of these children?
Yes, I do have it. Of course, we have to raise funds to make that happen.
Of course.
But I would like at least 1,000 acres. So if anyone has 1,000 acres, am I allowed to say that?
I don't know.
preferably in Florida right now because it's snowing outside
I
and
know.
it's cold here in New York.
You know, the day we planned the show, and just as I'm leaving the house to come here, it starts snowing, and it's piling up out there as we speak.
So yes, 1,000 acres in a warm climate.
Okay. We'll put that out into the universe for you.
Absolutely.
Let's see
Well,
what happens.
it's going to be realized. It's definitely going to happen. I'm going to make sure that happens. And I have
So-
a lot of people, white lighters that are on board, and they want to see it happen as well. So,
Oh, I'd like to see it happen, of course.
well, thank you very much.
I would love to see children being brought up with clear heads and
Yeah.
and love in their hearts instead of
Absolutely.
all the mixed stuff that they get.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
Parents today, there's a lot of people that just should not be parents, period.
Yeah.
And their children are proof of that.
So another thing with the community that I'd like to build, in the front of the community is going to be a commercial portion where there'll be a daycare center, a free daycare for low-income families. But the requirement to have their children in the free daycare is for them to do classes with us once a week, parenting classes, meditation, self-hypnosis, doing workshops on how to be better parents and how
That's
to
good.
love themselves.
You don't just
Because
give
when
it
they
away.
when the parents love themselves, it's easier for them to pass that love to the child. It's
That's
easier
right.
for
That's
them
true.
to be happy with themselves and spread that happiness, joy, and really teach the children at a much
Well, I
deeper
think
level.
one of the problems is people get married and have children for the wrong reasons. Especially the getting married part, because very often people just get married because they want to just be married. They don't want to be alone or something. And then they find out they're with the wrong person, and they've got a slew of kids with the wrong person, and that's a big problem.
See, and that's another thing. When from the earliest stages, when you're growing with that self-respect and that confidence, and you really know who you are, and you have all of these coping skills, and you're being raised with love, you deserve to be loved perfectly, to share love perfectly. So you would never settle. You would never settle with anyone.
I wouldn't.
Right. And so these children are also going to learn how to be in relationships, but on their own pace.
Yeah.
Because that's very important. And too many
Sure
people
is.
do get together.
Yes.
People should not have children unless they are absolutely in love with one another.
That's right. That's right. Well, you see, that's where I was fortunate. My parents loved each other and showed my sister and I that we were loved and wanted.
Awesome.
I was growing up thinking that all children were loved and wanted. I didn't know, because
Yeah.
what you experience at home is what you think the rest of the world is experiencing. It really hit me like a ton of bricks when I realized that there were children that were suffering because their parents didn't want them or didn't love them or treated them badly. My parents never treated us badly. I
That's
was so
awesome.
lucky.
Congratulations. Yes, very
I
lucky.
had awesome parents. They
Because
were-
the majority
they weren't
of
perfect,
the
of
majority
course.
of the world,
They're
it's not the case.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I was
It's
very fortunate.
It's very heavy,
fortunate.
very dense, and it's
My parents always worried about my sister and I and our welfare and our well-being and that we were happy and loved, and they were good people.
awesome. I'm very happy for you. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. I'm there.
Now everyone should have
too
that.
early, though. They were both, in my estimation, both young when they went. I was only in my 30s when they, and
You're
they're-
not still in your 30s?
No, unfortunately. No, I can't say that. No, really. I have people that are my age in their 60s that are still have their parents. I've run into some and say, "Well, you're very lucky you still have your parents."
Yeah.
You know. But the thing is that mine left a little too early, but they left me with a lot of good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I was lucky I had my grandmother. So my grandmother was the one person who actually showed me the most amount of love. Like
Right.
she was an amazing woman. So I was very lucky that I had my grandmother.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Good. So then, now what you mean by healing the world through children is healing the children first.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Then you don't have to worry, there's so many issues, like even like political issues that we're not going to talk politics,
right,
please.
of course, now, never.
But but there's so many issues, and that the actual solution to it is to start with the children.
That's right.
Then they don't make
The children are our
they make better
future.
choices, better decisions when they're coming from that area of love and confidence and self-respect.
That's right. The children are
So,
our future.
absolutely.
If they're brought up with a clear head, then we'll have a clear world.
Yes, that's the idea. That is the idea.
I hope that
So
happens. I really
thank you very
do.
much.
I really do, because it's necessary.
Yes. And that's another thing, and of course we're metaphysical. One of the other things is a lot of children, there's more Christ, there are more Christs being born today than at any time in our history on this planet. And, these are higher evolved
You mean like
souls.
indigo children? And
I don't like to label, but yes, like even further than that. I know there's some that crystal and, yeah, sure. But Christs, this is
Right.
with the Christ energy, they're coming in now. And unfortunately, they're coming into bad places, bad homes. And even with like the metaphysical abilities, like, like astral traveling and all the psychic abilities, where the, parents automatically dismiss it. They say, oh, that's impossible, or they even put it down. They don't want their children to be considered like weird or whatever, but they have these abilities, which it should be encouraged.
No, they should be embracing their children's abilities instead of putting them down.
Right.
If they were embracing them, then the children would grow up differently.
So now also in this community, so I told you in the front's going to be a commercial front to the property with the daycare. Then there'll also be like another small village there where all the produce, because each home is self-sufficient. They all have their own gardens, their own livestock perhaps, but also on the property is going to be a farm. There's going to be groves, there's going to be fruits and nuts and all kinds of vegetation. And any of the produce is going to go to the daycare center, also to that village, where we're going to have like organic markets, cafes and restaurants there, where everyone in the community will participate in, and also all of the crafts, the wares, the art that the children and the members of the community are going to create. That's also their outlet as well, to sell their goods. So that's another portion of the
So
community.
you have a big plan.
Oh, it's even bigger. Yes.
And in how long do you think that it will take to get this underway?
Well, if we win the Powerball soon,
sure.
then
Yeah, that could
it'll happen a lot
right?
quicker. But it's going to matter. It's absolutely going to happen. I know that there's going to be huge donations. People are going to become aware, and they're gonna know how important this is, and they're really going to want to see it happen as well. So the time frame, I couldn't give you an exact time frame right now, but
Hoping like within 5 years or
oh
something?
yes, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it happens.
Thank
It's
you.
something that I would love to see. And
Thank you.
when it does happen, you let me know. I'll come down and visit and check it out.
Okay. You'll be one of the first guests.
Okay.
And another portion of the community is we're going to have a retreat in the large property, where people from around the world can come to do workshops and trainings, like a spa and all different healing modalities, which every child will have the opportunity to learn every healing modality.
Oh, that's good. And they
Yes.
can also probably become, make a living at some of these
Absolutely,
things,
yes. And
you
it's
know.
all, it's all in the community, so it's yeah. And then when they turn 18, they'll have their own homestead in the community. Or they can go off into the world, whatever they want to do.
Right.
And a lot of these children initially are going to come from, the foster care system. The ones that
Alright,
aren't going to
well.
be reunited with their parents, whether they're in prison for life or deceased, or they just have no rights because they
weren't good parents.
right. Well, there's a lot of drug addiction and stuff like that.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Well, that's one of the problems.
And there's a lot of people that they never get the help. even
Drugs
though-
and alcohol is one of the biggest things
Yeah.
that makes this a problem
Yeah.
for these children. Yes, it's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So you love animals, so we'll have horses, we'll have camels.
Teach them to be
Yes.
kind to animals. Yes,
Absolutely. And it's very therapeutic anyway, with children working with animals, and we'll have
Oh,
sheep
yes.
and
Oh,
goats
yes.
and
Oh,
alpacas.
I know. I know they take autistic children and they have programs where they put them on horseback, and they react. They love it, and they have good reactions, and even sometimes the parents are surprised to see how their children is changing because of animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know. So so when when these children are being, in a way, rehabilitated, you might say, right?
Well, they're coming from the earliest ages, so I'm talking about babies and toddlers. So they're coming
That have nothing
right from the
influencing them
beginning.
yet.
Yes, that's the perfect time, right from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Now, another portion, I know that keeps getting bigger. The community keeps getting bigger, but another portion we will have. Sort of like a boot camp, like a group home for the teenagers that are in the foster care system, that they'll have the opportunity to learn. They'll have the opportunity to grow in the most positive manner. Like I said, I'm mentoring some now, but for a lot of them, it's sad to say, it's hopeless almost.
It's a long
I don't like to
road.
say that, but so
They're
they'll have
already
they'll have
ruined.
that opportunity as a teenager also to come through and work in the community, learn, and a high functioning one is they have that opportunity where now they'll have their own homestead, if they turn their lives around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, you have to be able to reach them.
yes,
You have to be able to reach them in
That's
their
why
hearts and their minds, and show them that there's a better way, show them that there's a happier way. Because let's face it, when you're doing positive things and being good and doing things that make people smile, you feel good.
of course,
You know,
absolutely.
you feel good when you're doing things that are doing some good.
When you do good for others, you're doing
Good for yourself.
yourself. When
That's
you
right.
heal others, you're healing yourself.
That's right. That's right. And when you're into being a good influence for others, you are taking care of yourself as well. That's right. Yes. So, all right. So these children, what do you foresee the world to be when all of these children are going through all of this kind of training? I guess you might say, right?
And it's all, and it's not like it's not like a structured, you have to do this, and by this time. No, each child will learn and grow at their own pace.
Right.
They'll have the opportunity to excel beyond belief, but they also at their own pace, because we are all on different levels, and
Well,
each child will be on
yeah.
a different level. But again, right from the very beginning, by showing them love, support, guidance.
That's where it all begins.
Of
with love.
course.
And a lot of people don't realize that because they don't have any.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I look around, and I say to myself, "Look at this world. The way people are today. That they're into themselves. They're self-centered. They're selfish. They're just worrying about their own selves, and they to the point where their own children are suffering.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I can't fathom that because my parents would never ever let us suffer for them.
Awesome.
Well,
you were very lucky.
I was extremely lucky. Yes.
So another thing that we do, even before the community is established, one of the things we do, I do a healing workshop, and I teach my students how to do remote healing. I get them out of their own way. I get them to heal on every level, but I also teach them remote healing. And a lot of what we do is we work on children. So we do a lot of remote healing for all of the children throughout the entire world in every reality. We also do a lot of healing, a lot of with pure positive intentions for every fetus, for every pregnant woman, giving them that love, that pure love and light.
The child comes into the world being.
Yes. And we do a lot of, with that pure love energy directly from the source of all creation, God, the universe, the multiverse, as we're channeling that energy and we're giving it to every pregnant woman, every child, we're also giving the intentions of forgiveness. We're wiping away any and all negative karma so that these children are coming into this world karma free.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
That's good. And after that, they make their own karma.
Well, yes, they do, I guess.
Well, Um, no, this is great. Well, most of the healing modalities like Reiki and magnified healing, both of which I am capable of practicing. Um, they both have ways of remote healing. You could
Yeah.
send out symbols from Reiki to anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
And the
Everything,
same-
it's all intention as well, and everything
Oh
works.
yes, everything is intention.
Absolutely.
That's right. If your
Because
intention-
you could heal someone else just, you don't have to know any signs or symbols. You don't have to know, officially connecting and channeling that pure love through. It'll just show up anyway, but it's here and here. So even if you're having positive thoughts for others to
Right,
heal,
you don't
you're
have to
healing them.
actually be sending out that energy, just your intention. that
Yes,
that
just the
person
intentions.
is healed, and
Absolutely.
the fact that you have the power,
Absolutely.
it's there.
And each person has this ability. Every single person has this ability. But unfortunately, most people do not know that. They're not aware of it.
And even if they were, there's a lot of them aren't kind enough to try to use it.
And that's why we're working with the children.
Yes.
That's why we're starting from the earliest ages so that they know that their intention matters. They know
Yes.
that they can do amazing, extraordinary things. And knowing it from the earliest ages.
Well, like the song says, the children are our future.
Yes.
They are the ones that are going to make this world and make it what it will be. Today, the world is like horrible. You go to all these other
But
countries.
it's changing. People are waking up.
Oh,
People
I hope
are
you're
waking
right.
up.
Let me
We're
tell you.
we're in an accelerated time of ascension.
Yeah.
So reality is shifting moment to moment. People are waking up. So it's harder for the powers behind the powers to hold on to this illusion, to this world, the matrix. So people are waking up and it's breaking apart. The veil's been lifted and people are ascending. This world is ascending. And right now, within the last couple of years, a huge darkness has been lifted from this world and every world, every reality. You can't even if you look for it, you can't find it. It's gone.
And what did this darkness consist of? I mean, all negative.
It was a
Stuff.
heaviness, yes, a heaviness, a darkness, bad stuff.
And who was responsible for this darkness?
All of us. Oh, who's responsible for getting rid of it? I was
Now,
going
who's
to say all of us.
responsible for bringing it in and then getting rid of it?
Well, we don't have to throw out any blame, but a lot of times, okay, so I've come across the darkest, ugliest, hugest, most vicious dark entities, and they were created by a mass of severely abused children. They didn't create it on purpose, but it was created from their abuse, their trauma, all of the negative thought patterns, the anger, the guilt, the shame. So anything created, you're creating, as we're sitting here, you're creating. Every thought you're having is creating. You're creating nonstop. In any case, anything created will fight for its continued existence. And that darkness, those dark entities that are created just from the pain and suffering, the abuse that the children experience from all those negative thought patterns, it's real. And what does darkness, what do those entities feed off of? More darkness. They need more
negativity.
chaos, more dysfunction, more abuse. So that is part of it. And all darkness works hand in hand, which I don't really like to talk about the darkness too much, but it is there. But as beings of pure love and white light, like yourself and myself and the people that we associate with, doing this healing work, healing the world, bringing more beautiful, pure love, white light into this world nonstop. That is what's dissipating the darkness. That is what's bringing about this accelerated time of ascension.
I'm always throwing white light at people and animals
Awesome.
as I go along.
Awesome.
So that and people don't realize that I'm actually putting out protection for them and their pets, and it's a good thing.
Well,
so.
thank you very much for doing that.
Well, you're welcome.
So you were talking about a song before. What is your favorite song?
Oh, I don't know about my favorite song, although I have to say that. Do you know a song called "Those Were the Days, My Friend"?
Archie Bunker?
No, not Archie.
Sing it. Let me hear it. Maybe I do know
Those
it.
were the days, my friend. We
Da, da,
thought
da,
they'd
da,
never-
da, da.
Well,
Yes, I like
that was
that
the
song.
song that my mother. That was my mother and I. That was our song. Yeah.
I actually
We
gotta
used-
re-
every time it came on, we would sing it.
I like the song. I got to download that.
Yeah.
I got to download
Yeah,
that song.
it's
I
a
like it.
beautiful song. And every time, if I'm driving along, it comes on the radio, and all of a sudden tears start coming down my face, remembering my mother.
Awesome.
Yeah. But the song I was referring to was, yeah, I'm trying to think of it now. I can't remember the
Children are the future.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right. Yes,
Right.
yes. You know, I think that, I'm trying to remember who sang it. But when I took Reiki classes, that was our song. You know what I mean? It was,
Okay.
we would sing it. And it's the truth. The children are our future. And if they're not being brought up right, then this world is going to be a very sad place.
Yes.
It's going to be full of
So
negativity.
one of the things that I would like to do, to suggest for the audience to do, you don't have to be official or certified healer in any modality, but all you have to do, you know, maybe before you go to sleep at night, just imagine, use your mind, visualize, and give love to every child in the world.
It's an idea.
Everyone. And, you know, see the children, maybe it's all the children in your life or children that you come across, you know, give them the intention. So before you go to sleep at night, you know, close your eyes and just imagine yourself giving them everything they need, like confidence, strength, and courage, clarity of mind, clarity of purpose, giving them forgiveness. Picture them, imagine them happy with perfect health. And, you know, give the intention that if they need to learn any lessons in this life, that they learn it in the easiest, quickest, most positive, most beneficial manner for their highest good and their ultimate happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll notice the world will shift. You'll notice that the world will be completely different. So everyone in your audience, and you have a big audience.
Yes,
Yes, you do.
I know. I
So
have
if
a
everyone in the
global
audience is
following.
Yes, absolutely. So if everyone in the audience is doing that, you know, you're creating a better world. You're healing the world through every child that you're sending this energy to.
You hear that, audience? That would be great if I could influence everybody to do that and help make this world a better place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's my whole purpose, actually, is to try to make things better around me and around the world and everything. And being on at YouTube, you know, people can go to YouTube and watch my shows. Just go look at Spiritual Exploration, and I must have over 100 there now by now. And that's not all the shows I've done. I've got quite a few that never made it in there. But you know, I mean, I think that the information that I put out, it does influence people.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You know.
And I come across, you know, sometimes if I do an expo or something, I'll come across people that have seen me on your show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I just had a student recently come to one of my workshops he discovered me through your show.
I've had that
Yeah.
happen with quite a few people, quite a few guests. A few years ago, you were doing a workshop in the city on self-hypnosis, and you invited me, and I went. And in the middle of each, it was two Sundays in a row, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
And in the middle of the day, when people started getting a little hungry, we would go down to the street and find a sandwich or something and come back up to the room where the workshop was taking place. I actually had a woman spot me and follow me into the building to the elevator where I was going to come back upstairs. And she just peeked in the elevator and said, "I watch your show."
That's awesome.
It's always awesome when somebody recognizes, especially when they recognize me off Staten Island, you know. But no, I've had people recognize me all over the place, and it's always a thrill. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing good work just by
I've-
having this show and having guests
Yes.
on. Absolutely.
I feel like that's the case. I do. I feel like I'm doing good work and hopefully making some people's. I've actually had people say to me, "You saved my life,"
Awesome.
because they found a guest that helped them or something, you know, whatever. You know?
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. But yes, children are important, and when they when they are growing up, they have to be taught the best way to grow up in the most positive way so that they will be a positive influence on their environment and the people and pets and animals and everything around them. They have to know that they are here for a purpose and that they should be respected. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
And also, you mentioned, like we said before, you go to sleep to do something like that. Also, just by healing yourself, just by working on yourself,
yes.
giving yourself forgiveness, bringing yourself to have that self-love, you are making the world a better place. Even if you're only working on yourself, you are absolutely making the world a better place.
Yes.
You're raising the frequencies and vibrations of yourself, the space around you, the people around you. The world becomes brighter, lighter.
Yes. Well, when you're a beacon for the world when you are being positive. I know people that find something wrong with everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're out
Every time you're with this person, there's always a complaint about one thing or another. And I'd say to them, stop it. Stop bringing all that negativity out because that's what you're putting out into the universe and that's what you're going to bring back to yourself and others.
Right. And when you tell them that, they don't want to hear that.
No, they don't.
They don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear that. No.
But, a lot of times it's okay. It's okay even if you're friends for decades. If the person is a toxic person,
Yes.
it's okay to remove yourself from that relationship.
Well, there are certain people. I have a few people around that you might consider a little toxic, but I don't remove myself from their friendship. I try to not see them as much.
Well, okay.
Right, but I don't remove myself because these are the people that absolutely need friends, and I'm not going to dump somebody who needs a friend.
As long as they're not abusive.
As long as they're not abusive. No.
Okay.
No, well, I don't allow anybody to abuse me. Anybody that tries to
good.
abuse me, then I dump them, period. I'm
Hey,
gone.
what sign are you?
Cancer,
You're July?
July 10th.
I was going to tell you July 10th.
Really?
Doreen from my book, The Other Side Visit Now, her birthday is July 10th.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I like you better.
Oh, thank you.
She was my sister in a previous life.
Oh, really?
So you know how that goes.
Yeah. Guess she didn't get
She's
along
not going to
so
watch
well.
the show, so she's not going to
You
hear
don't
this.
have to worry about it. Because that relationship went kind of south.
Oh, no. Actually, stay with them when I'm here, when I stay in Staten Island.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
No, I'm saying in the past life.
In the past
yeah.
life, it went south.
Sisters can be annoying.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I have a sister, but see, I'm very lucky though in a way because she doesn't live on Staten Island, 700 miles away. So I love her dearly, believe me. But I think that we get along a lot better that we're not under the same roof or
Right.
real close. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we'll talk on the phone and we never fight or anything because we're not near each other.
Okay.
And we have a lot of the same thought patterns about certain things. So we're in agreement. That's good.
Awesome.
Yes. But no, well, when you have children and you're trying to raise them and you're trying to raise them to be the best people they can be, that's the goal. To try to do that, but a lot of parents aren't into it. They're into themselves. They're into what they want, their enjoyment, their whatever, their alcohol and their drugs, all that kind of stuff. That's what's influencing people mostly nowadays, I believe. And when they're into things like that, the children suffer because
Of course they do.
they're not giving the children. If you're going to have a child, make it so that you are planning to bring up this child yourself and be that child's guardian
Yes, absolutely.
and protector and love that child. Once you have a child, the child is your focus.
Yes.
The focus is off you now. It's onto that child that you brought into the world.
Yes, and the best parenting, in my opinion, is to raise a child to do things for themselves, to solve problems.
Yes.
To really think for themselves. And
You know how many children I've come across that didn't know how to tie their shoes?
wow, yeah.
Teach your children to tie their shoes. teach them to do things that they need to be done.
And unfortunately, though, there are a lot of parents that actually, when they have children, they want to keep their child dependent on them.
Yeah, that's true too. That
Yeah,
happens.
It happens a lot.
That happens where, yes, I see a lot
I got,
of.
there's women, I guess I could say a lot of Italian women where they don't want their child to even leave home. They get angry when their child's ready to, start his own family and
My
leave.
mother once said that she was happy that we lived close to her.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted
Right,
us
but
around.
but there's a difference, being in the same, being under the roof and, your parent not wanting you to even leave home ever.
Yeah, well, I know. I see that. There's a lot of adult children that are still living with mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
In their 40s, 50s, even 60s. Who are lucky enough to have them that long.
Right.
But still, it's like it always was from the day they were born, and they're still going on just like that. And children do have to learn how to take care of themselves.
Absolutely.
How to
Absolutely.
not depend on mommy and daddy so much.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It happens all too often. I look around and I see it, and then how about all the kids that do move out and end up moving back?
Well, life happens. Sometimes things happen, and I mean, it's every case, a case by case. It's all on an individual basis, case by case basis. Where they went out and they tried to do something. If they have to go back for whatever reason, at least have a plan. Have a plan, have a
I'm
strategy.
going to stay here for 3 months and I'll get my own place again.
Or even if it's a year or two, just to get yourself back on your feet, just
Right.
to
Save some money.
Right. If there's a plan. If there's no plan, then that could be an issue.
Yeah, sure.
But again, if you've taught your child from the earliest ages how to do things for themselves, how to have coping skills, to think creatively, to think logically, to
Because you
solve
have
problems.
to realize you're not going to be there forever.
Right.
There's going to come a day when that child or children are alone. And then what are they going to do if they don't have any skills?
Right.
If they can't take care of themselves, they're going to wind up in the street. Parents are very selfish when they do that.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not always a selfish thing. It's a lot of times they just don't know any better.
Yeah.
Most parents don't know how to be parents. They were never taught properly. Again, with the cycles of dysfunction, the cycles of abuse, perhaps. But where did they learn how to be parents? From their parents, who also didn't know.
Yeah.
So it gets passed on generation to generation.
Yeah. Well, nobody's
So it's not
perfect.
always,
Nobody
when you're
knows
saying
everything.
it's selfish, yes, it can be, but there are certain situations, not even that it's selfish, they just don't know any better.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the things when we have the free daycare for the low-income families, that the requirement is for them to do parenting classes once a week, to do workshops, to do trainings, to work on themselves.
Yes.
Because if the parent is working on themselves, if the parent is bringing themselves to have that self-love, to see themselves through the eyes
Making
of...
things more positive.
Right, when they're doing that, the child is absolutely benefiting on every level. So is the parent, but absolutely the child as well.
Sure.
So and I think
it's a win-win.
And actually, and that's what they should be teaching in school anyway. They should have, I guess, what is it used? It used to be called home economics, home ec, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I never had home.
I never had it either.
I
but-
never had it because I went to Catholic and private schools, and they didn't have it. The public schools had that kind of
Right,
stuff.
but I don't think they have it anymore. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
But they should be teaching. They should be teaching this in school. They should be teaching how to be in relationships, how to treat other people. They should be teaching people, teaching the children how to live a good life.
Well, yeah, and yeah, it's true. It's true. They should teach them everything that they, all the skills they need, including how to set a table.
And yes, and most importantly, how to be a parent, how to raise children.
Yeah.
And that's, that would be, in my mind, it would be an extensive course, actually, because there's a lot involved.
Oh, sure.
With being a parent.
That's a
and-
lifetime commitment.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you got no business doing it. Same thing with pets. There are people that shouldn't have pets because they don't know how to handle them, and they think that they can just throw them out when they don't want them
Yeah,
anymore.
that's sad. Yes.
That's very sad. And pets are not toys.
No.
They're not, and you know, and if they need something, you have to get it for them. They need medical attention. They need food, whatever. You know, and people, you know, they
Well, you're very
look-
passionate with the animals.
I am very
Yeah.
passionate, very, because they need somebody to be passionate for them. Well, my friend Frank Dudley and I, who Frank will be gone now, 8 years come December.
Oh wow.
And but he and I have for 8 years had a animal organization, rescue and all that kind of stuff, and you know, getting them spayed and neutered and finding homes and this and that. And we did what we could for 8 years, and then we just, you know, ready for a rubber room after that. Because
Right.
you know why? Because people are horrible when it comes to pets.
Yeah.
I had calls like, if you don't take this dog, I'm going to throw it in the street. Oh, yeah? Well, that's between you and God, because that's his creature you're talking
Yeah.
about. You know? That's why I believe in karma.
Ugh,
Go ahead.
okay. Oh boy. Yeah, karma is real, but it doesn't have to be there anymore.
Doesn't have to
You know,
be.
when you do
People
the
just
cycles,
do the right
when you
thing.
do the cycles, the karmic cycles, it just never ends, and we don't need that anymore. If the system was put in place as a guide, as a system of control, and if there was a usefulness to that system, that usefulness has outlived itself.
Well,
We
I
do
don't know.
not
Maybe
need-
it's on its
I
way,
absolutely
but I
free
don't think it has
everyone.
altogether.
I absolutely free everyone of any negative karma whatsoever. I forgive every single person of every single thing. And I'm on autopilot. I forgive myself for
Yeah, but
anything
that's
I've ever
like,
done
that's like
and
saying,
anything I will ever do.
Oh, well, you murdered that guy. That's okay. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not okay. But at the same time, well, there's a difference between killing and murder, but at the same time, no one's going to hell. There's a darker
know
other
about that.
side. There is a darker other side, but those are with, darker entities. Those are darker where I don't like to, most people that are doing bad things are operating on bad programming, the cycles of dysfunction, of abuse. And most of those people that are doing those bad things are in pain and they're suffering themselves and they don't know how to cope or deal with it, and that's what they're putting forward. Now, but there is evil, but most people are not. Most people that are doing bad things are not evil. Now, evil, when an evil comes into this world and you have an evil person with no conscience, and they're specifically here to create abuse and suffering and pain and chaos, when they leave, they're not going to hell. They're going to the darker other side. There's darker guides and stuff
well,
like
that's the
that.
equivalent,
But
isn't
people,
it?
no. Just like we feed, or we are energized with pure love. We're energized with pure love from the source of all creation. We are love and light. That's who we are.
Yes.
Now there are also there's dark,
Darkness.
right? And so they're not suffering because that's what they are feeding from. That's what they get. That's what they want. Now, when people that aren't evil but are doing even evil that would be considered evil, when they're doing bad things, there's still that goodness, there's still that light, and they're still God's children. You like to use that word.
God made them too.
Right. So just like any parent, they don't want to see their children suffering. We have free, well, most people have, well, some people have free will. Most people have the illusion of it because most decisions are made by what they tell you and by your experiences and not being able to get past that trauma and those experiences. So all your choices and decisions are influenced, if not controlled, by outside influences. So in any case, when they're doing those things, why would you want to see anyone suffer? When we're in this
Don't
world,
want to see anybody suffer, but people bring things upon themselves.
they do. But it's not, it's coming from a place of those cycles of dysfunction, of abuse.
I mean,
it's
if
coming
I could have
from
the
mislearned
power-
behaviors.
If I had the power to take away every bit of suffering that every living thing is experiencing, with the hope that taking away that suffering will cause people to rethink what they're doing, then I would do it.
Just continue to send love and light to every person, give forgiveness, and free everyone of any negative karma, and you'll be doing it. Because when you wish karma on someone, that's a lower vibration.
I don't wish it on people. I just expected that people are going to
Pay for their crime?
pay for their crimes.
Well, here's what I'm telling you.
That's what jails are for.
Here's what jails. Here's what I'm telling the audience. Don't wish karma on anyone. Do not do it. Free anyone and everyone of any negative karma whatsoever. Please. When you're doing that, you're making the world a better place.
You're wishing it on.
Have you ever been accused of something that you never did?
I've not only been accused of things I never did, I've been accused of things that never happened.
Right, exactly. And how does it make you feel? Now, this person or this group of people think that you actually did something. Now they're wishing negative karma on you, or they wish, oh, she's going to get it, or they expect you to pay for the crime that they believe you did, even though you didn't do it. They're creating that lower vibration so that something is going to happen, a karmic effect,
But
even though you didn't do
it. It boomerangs. Goes right back.
And I tell you, please do not boomerang. If anyone's done anything wrong to me or sending me anything negative, it is not coming back to you. It is only coming back with love and light, forgiveness.
But it boomerangs because they make it, not because you make it boomerang, but because they're doing it to themselves.
Right.
When they put out negativity, they receive negativity. It comes back.
One of the things that I teach is that it doesn't matter if you're 15, 25, 85 years old. You have suffered enough. Mm-hmm. And usually when I ask the question, has anyone here not suffered enough? No one ever, everyone laughs. Because this can be a heavy, dense world. There's a lot of pain out there. Now, even if you still have a karmic obligation or a contract, I'm telling you right now, you've served your sentence. It doesn't matter what age you are, you have suffered enough. This world has had enough pain and suffering. You have suffered enough. It is time to let go. Forgive everyone. Forgive yourself. When you do that, when you don't expect karma for other people, when you don't expect that karma and you don't wish it on anyone, you're raising the frequency and vibrations. You're making the world a better place. And that is absolutely true.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Okay. Thank you. So no one's going to hell now, okay?
All right, but they are going to the dark side.
Only if they're from the dark.
Right, okay.
But they also have a choice as well, because I've come across very dark entities and where, they'll attack or whatever, and I give them the choice. Because a lot of them have that fear that they're going to be destroyed. And I now give dark entities a choice that they don't have to be destroyed. They can still exist, but they can exist from the light, in the light. And I show them
what that is. So they have to become the light.
And they choose it. They
always
choose it.
Well, if they leave the darkness behind, they can become the light.
Absolutely.
There is such a thing as forgiveness, yes.
Absolutely.
And
it's very important. Forgiveness is one of our most powerful healing tools.
Well, yeah,
and every child should know that from the earliest ages. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that they're going to learn in the community.
Do you think that someday, maybe after we're gone, because, whatever, but that the world could be kind of utopic?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it starts with the community that we're going to build.
Okay. Well, I'd love to see it.
And starting now. We have so many people waking up and sharing pure love, pure positive intentions with everyone. And I just wanted to say another thing with, there are certain people that say they're from from love and light and they have good intentions, but at the same time, then they're saying so many bad things. They're doing so many bad things. That is not what love and light, pure love is. That is not good. Where a lot of people, even like teachers, are doing things with not pure intentions or not having good intentions even. And that's unfortunate. But we do have, right now, we are in an accelerated time of ascension. People are waking up and people are sharing this energy. People are waking up.
I've been hearing that for a while, though, now, and I really don't see a lot of evidence.
You know what? Start believing it. You'll see it.
Yeah.
Start believing it and you will see it.
Okay. I will look around and I'll be more
Well, believe it first and then look around.
right. And I'll be more aware of trying to look for the good stuff instead of seeing the bad stuff.
And just know that a lot of people that are doing bad things, again, it's bad programming, it's cycles of dysfunction. They're in pain themselves. So give them love, give them forgiveness. And you could do it remotely. You could just do it in your mind. You make the world a better place by doing that. And you heal yourself as you're doing that.
Well, that's true, because when you forgive, you're healing yourself, because you're taking something off your shoulders. You're taking a big pain away from yourself. Because when you can't forgive, you're in pain too.
Yep. And when you're holding on to that, it manifests in the physical.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true. It's true. It could make you sick, could bring on disease,
Absolutely.
you know, and
And that's why it's time to let go, to forgive. And even if you're only working on yourself and you bring yourself forgiveness and self-love, you're making the world a better place.
well, I'm sure that you're correct, because it sounds right to me.
Well, thank you.
You know,
Thank
well,
you.
it does. I mean, what could be wrong about what you're saying? No. You know what I mean? It's the truth.
You know, and well, I was going to say that I'm not competitive, but I always win.
God always wins.
Of course,
Yeah.
and you are God.
That's right. We are God. We have
Absolutely.
God in us.
Absolutely.
And on that note, I'm going to say good night, and I hope that everybody enjoyed this. I enjoyed this conversation, and it was very enlightening, and I hope that everybody got something out of it, and that you all go on, be positive, forgive everybody, and see people differently, and let's make the world a better place.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
I love being on your show.
I know. I love having you. Take care now.